It was close to midnight when the rain started, heavy and relentless, hammering the quiet mountain road that twisted through the dark pines. Mia Collins gripped the steering wheel tighter, her knuckles white, eyes flicking between the road and the flickering fuel gauge. She had been driving for 6 hours, trying to get home after visiting her sister in a small town miles away. But her GPS had led her into the middle of nowhere. The radio had died an hour ago. Her phone had no signal, and the only sound left was the rhythmic slap of the wipers and the distant rumble of thunder. The road stretched endlessly ahead, glistening under the weak glow of her headlights when she saw it, an old wooden sign half hidden in the rain that read, "Last stop diner, 2 miles." Relief flooded her chest. Maybe she could get gas, coffee, and a bit of warmth. She turned off the main road, following the narrow path that wound deeper into the forest. After a few minutes, the flicker of a neon light appeared through the rain. A small diner, old-fashioned, with foggy windows and a single car parked outside. The red neon sign buzzed weakly, "Last stop diner." And as Mia parked her car, she noticed how still everything was, like the world was holding its breath. Inside, the diner was dimly lit, with vinyl booths, an old jukebox in the corner, and a smell of burnt coffee hanging in the air. A woman in her 60s stood behind the counter, wiping it with a rag, her eyes lifting slowly when Mia entered. "Rough night?" "Honey," the woman said with a tired smile. "Coffee's hot. Sit wherever you like." Mia smiled back, grateful, and took a booth near the window. Outside, the rain seemed to grow louder, pounding the glass like it wanted in. "You're lucky," the woman said, pouring her coffee. "Most folks don't come down this road anymore. Not since the accidents." Mia frowned. "Accidents?" The woman hesitated. "Bus crash a few years back. Killed everyone on board. Locals say the driver took the wrong turn. Same one you just took." She gave a nervous chuckle. "They say the dead still ride that stretch of road, looking for a way home." Mia forced a laugh, though a chill crept up her spine. She tried to brush it off as just a ghost story, but when the doorbell jingled behind her, she jumped. A man had walked in, tall, drenched, his eyes shadowed beneath a hood. He moved straight to the counter without a word. Mia caught his reflection in the window. His face was pale, almost gray. He sat in silence, never removing his hood, and the old woman didn't seem to acknowledge him at all. Feeling uneasy, Mia turned back to her coffee. When she looked again a few minutes later, the man was gone. She blinked. The door hadn't opened. The stool was still wet from rain. "Did that guy just leave?" Mia asked. The woman looked puzzled. "What guy?" Mia's stomach dropped. "The man who was just sitting there." The woman frowned deeper. "Sweetheart, you're the only one here." The lights flickered once, then twice before the entire diner went dark. Mia gasped, heart racing. The woman muttered something and went into the back room to check the fuse box. Alone, Mia stared out the window, and that's when she saw headlights coming up the road, slowly, too slowly, like something dragging. It was a bus. The bus was old, covered in grime, its windows black as tar. It stopped in front of the diner, engine idling low. The doors creaked open with a hiss. Mia froze. The driver, a figure in a dark uniform, sat motionless. Through the window, she could see shapes moving inside, faces pale and still, pressed against the glass. She couldn't look away. Then, faintly, she heard something, a whisper. It came from outside, low and broken, calling her name. "Mia," she stumbled back, knocking her cup off the table. Coffee splashed across the floor. The whisper grew louder, closer, like 100 voices blending into one. The diner door swung open by itself, rain blowing in. "Mia, time to come home," the voices said. Terrified, she backed into the counter, but the old woman was gone. The diner was empty. The jukebox suddenly came to life, playing a distorted old song from the 1950s, "Enjoy the Ride." Mia bolted out the back door, running into the forest behind the diner. Branches whipped her face, rain blinded her eyes, but she didn't stop until she stumbled into a clearing. And there, impossibly, sat her own car, headlights still on, engine humming. But she had parked it out front. Her breath came in ragged gasps as she reached for the door handle, only to freeze when she saw herself sitting in the driver's seat. Her reflection, turned its head and smiled. "You shouldn't have left," it said. The headlights flared, blinding her, and the world tilted. When Mia opened her eyes again, she was sitting behind the wheel, the rain still pouring. Her GPS was blinking, recalculating route. The diner was gone. The forest was silent. The clock on her dashboard read 12:07 a.m., the exact time she had arrived before. Confused, she started the engine and drove on. The road seemed endless, the trees identical, and after 10 minutes she saw the same flickering neon sign. Last stop diner, 2 miles. Panic surged through her chest. She tried to turn around, but the steering wheel locked. The car kept driving itself forward. She screamed, slamming the brakes, but they didn't respond. The road curved sharply ahead, and before she could react, she saw bright headlights coming straight toward her. A bus, old and rusted, its horn blaring. The impact came like a thunderclap, then silence. Hours later, the rain stopped. Dawn broke over the mountains, painting the road in gray light. The wreckage of a car lay twisted in a ditch, steam rising from the crushed hood. The police found Mia's phone on the seat, still recording a voice memo. Static, then faint whispers saying, "You can't leave." Not after the last ride. They ruled it an accident. Locals whispered about another soul taken by the haunted highway. Weeks passed, and the last stop diner reopened quietly, just as it always did after the storms. Travelers passing by swore they saw a woman sitting by the window, sipping coffee, her eyes empty, watching the rain. Some said if you drove that road at midnight, you'd see her car following behind you, headlights dim, engine silent, until it vanished into the fog. And if you ever stopped for coffee at the diner, you might find her waiting, asking softly, "Where are you headed?" But no matter what you answer, the road always ends the same, at the edge of nowhere with only one sign ahead. Welcome back. Enjoy the last ride.